aspirants, welcome back to the Hindu analysis. So we will be looking at the Hindu analysis for 26th October 2018. So the first news item in your page 1, it is disqualification of Tamil Nadu MLAs upheld. So this is with respect to the Speaker of Tamil Nadu who has actually given a disqualifications of 18 MLAs under the 10th schedule. So here you have the details. Is actually a very old story. So here now we have the third judge which has upheld the speaker's decision. So here how the storyline goes on. So it is with respect to August 22nd 2017, the MLAs loyal to TTV Dinakaran. So he met the governor in Raj Bhavan and he said that the constitutional process is actually looking on to replace the CM. So this was with respect to, they were telling that it's because of the lack of confidence to what the present CM has been giving. So this was the move what they made it for the first time August 22nd 2017. But in September 18 2017 last year, the speaker is Dhanapal. So here the speaker of the Tamil Nadu Assembly Dhanapal, it disqualifies the 18 MLAs. So this is with respect to the 10th schedule of the constitution under the anti-defection law. So this is because the mistake to what they have done is because they have voluntarily given up their AIADMK membership. So these 18 MLAs have given up with their kinds of a membership. On limelight of this, the Speaker of the Tamil Nadu has disqualified the 18 MLAs. So this was challenged actually in June 14 in 2018. So the year the division bench of Madras High Court had given a split verdict, which means that one judge, that is Indra Banerjee, who was upholding the speaker's order and she was fine with the order what the speaker had given, but the other judge is Justice M. Sundaram setting it aside. So he was telling that there was a sort of a breach to what the speaker has done. So here it is with respect to the Justice Satyanarayan to whom the case was referred. So that is what the person we are talking about. Here we have the third judge of the Madras High Court, Justice M. Satyanarayan. For him the court was referred, and here he says that there is no ground to interfere with the speaker's order and this was not tainted by malefides or the perversity. So here he made it very clear that there is no need of interfering into the governor's in sense the speaker's orders to what he has been passed, because there was no sort or there was no traits of any malefides or the perversities. So on limelight of this, now the Justice M. Satyanarayan, the Supreme Court appointed person, he is actually the third judge of the Madras High Court, because here we saw the two judges who already given the verdict. So he is a third judge and he is actually upholding the validity of the order which was been passed by the Tamil Nadu speaker, that is P. Dhanapalan. So this with respect to the speaker which he has sent the order back in 2017. So that's the judgment to what we have got right now, and you should know it is with respect to anti-defection law. So we have like 12 schedules. So the 10th schedule talks about the anti-defection law, and this particular news column belongs to your general studies paper 1 mains as well as for your preliminary examination. So these would be subject to your preliminary as well as your mains examination. So this is about it, and whatever we learned here in short is what is being explained out here. But I would like to tell about one justice, Mr. Sundar, what he made it that. So here Mr. Justice Sundar set aside by on the multiple grounds, including that he spoke about malefied perversity and non-adherence to the principles of the natural justice. So he is saying that to whatever is being done, it is called to be as a malefied and perversity is being involved in it. So that is one of the reasons to why he set aside it. On now the Satyanarayan, the justice right now, he has made it clear that here the disqualification to what had happened on the MLAs, that is 18 MLAs, they have failed to prove their allegations of the speaker having passed the order with the ulterior motives. So since they have failed to prove the allegations to what they have made it on the speaker, so here it has been clear and there was no grounds of malefied as well as your perversity was not being seen. So that is one of the reasons now the disqualification of the Tamil Nadu MLAs has been upheld. And you should also know the special powers of the speakers. What is the speaker's power, to what extent he has the power. This becomes very important for your preliminary examination. The questions might be coming in a twisted form. Just understand the details. This case, this particular verdict has been end by right now, but your work depends on the anti-defection law and secondly on the speaker's role. So these two becomes very important, and to what extent the courts can interfere. So this is the area to where you have to focus on. And the second news item here we have on the front page itself, 1,400 arrested for the violence during the Sabarimala protest. So we know that the Supreme Court on September 28th it gave a verdict where all age of women's can get into the temples. So taking this on the limelight, as was the first month of the kirtanas and the openings of the temple had happened, the people went on for the protest telling that they stopped women not entering into the temples. So taking this into consideration, there was a protest broke down and Kerala police have arrested 1,400 people in connection with a violent protest against the entry of the young women. So now the police has almost filed 44 cases and it is issued a lookout of 210 persons. So issued a lookout means, which means that they are looking out for the people to take them under the custody. So they already filed a case, which means that they know the whereabouts of the persons of 440 cases people, but here 210 persons lookout has been happening. The finding of these particular people has been happening because they had to file them on the cases or the problems or the other restlessness to what has been created by these such people. So here it was including certain women. They have made a lot of things which has been something against the verdict and they were not been happy and they have gone against the government right now. So based on all these aspects, they have been booked under various sections, from rioting to the destruction of public property. First thing, the public property was being destroyed, attacking the people and deterring the public servants from discharging their duty, and they were also stopping the public servants by discharging their duty. By all these means, including women, they have been booked under the severe instance of various sessions which has been booked on right now. So that is all about this particular case, and this again the same verdict repetitions to what you have in this particular column. So you can skip that. So this is only the important takeaways to what you have to know, and again there is nothing as much to what you have to take, but you can know that the people are being arrested so for so and so reasons. That would be sufficient. And here again you have on the left hand side the 4 IB men held outside CBI Chief Alok Verma's house. So this with respect to the aftermath of the people, that is Mr. Rakesh Asthana and Alok Verma. They have been sent off leave right now. So here Mr. Alok Verma residents there, they had a suspect telling that there were people who have been roaming across this bungalow and they were finding some mysterious movement happening there. So taking this into consideration, the personal security officers, they have gone and caught those people, but the time they find out, they started making investigation to who and what they are, then they got to know they are the people who belong to the IP, that is the Intelligence Bureau. So they were the officials of the Intelligence Bureau. That's about it. But here Mr. Verma had thought about that Mr. Asthana has sent certain people to his bungalow to take up certain documents and other stuffs. That's it. For y'all, there's nothing, but just know even these things might happen. That's it. Right. So next one, under the page 1 itself, on the down you have Muzaffar probe details scary, says the Supreme Court. So this with respect to the Muzaffar, we know that it was the test case which came into considerations, right. So when this brought into the limelight of certain issues with respect to the Tata Institute of Social Science, which gave that in the Muzaffarnagar, especially that is in Bihar, in the shelter home, there is a lot of sexual harassments which has been happening on the girl childs. So taking this into consideration, now the CBI has taken up with the investigation of these particular areas, and now the CBI has given a report and it has been presented before Justice Madan Lokar, and here it has been said that the main accused, so there is one particular person, Mr. Brajesh Thakur. So this person had actually had an access to mobile phones. By having an access to mobile phones, here the CBI had found it that he was in a constant touch with the outside world. Since he was in a constant touch with the outside world, this had created a kind of an unrestful with the government and also with the CBI, can how these such things happen. And here the main concern to what the CBI had highlighted, that here Thakur is a very influential person, and here the people in that particular neighborhood of the Muzaffarnagar, they are scared of him. And the people also revealing right now that the girls were screaming at the shelter rooms, but they were frightened to even inform the policemen because this person was more of influential person. So now this is where whom we are calling as a main accused as Brajesh Thakur is more influential person and is also having a connection with an outside world, which means that he is still getting to know to what is happening to his particular places there, and he is getting an information and getting updated on to whatever the issues is being taken out right now. So this is what the report has been put forth by the CBI with respect to the court right now, and immediately the court had ordered that the income tax investigation has to happen on the assets of Thakur. So now The IT investigation has to happen to how much he has it, from where he gets it, and here the primary focus of the court is purely on the 4.5 crore what is actually received from the Bihar government from the past 10 years. So, from the past 10 years he has been receiving from the Bihar government, it's 4.5 crores, and this is for the activities under the financing to what he is used to have it as an NGO, that is Seva Sankalp Evam Vikas Samiti. So, for this is what he used to get under the NGO from the government. So, now that is a place where the shelter home was run and where the sexual harassment was happening. So, now the court is focusing on his IT, that is his income, and also with respect to the government's contribution for his Seva Mandal, that is the NGO part. So, this is the main focus remains out here. So, that is about it, and here the court was also asking about Mr. Chandrasekhar Verma, asking like what is about his whereabouts, because he was actually the husband of the former Bihar minister Manju Verma, because she was a state social welfare minister out there. So, this report was actually after the TIS gave the report, here she was being asked to resign from the post, because it was nothing to deal with a kind of an social welfare, rather it was being deteriorated more, and the young girls were being pushed on to the sexual harassment. So, taking these into consideration, the understandings to what has been there and other aspects is what the court wants to know from the CBI, and what happened to this person and what is the furthermore connections of the cases. And apart from that, this was also again you have the two CBI officers, Mr. Alok Verma and also Mr. Astana, were dealing earlierly, but right now the court was not happy with it, and there is a shift of the cases which had happened right now. So, this is not important, but this is about the people who are doing with a lot of criminal activities and sexual harassment, what in case if they have if they are an influential person. So, that might also deteriorate the people out there, the scariness of the people will be increasing more, and at the same time whatever the punishments we tend to give the people will not be given on. So, that there isn't chances of loopholes and also the escapism of these people by using the influence in return. So, that is about it. So, these were the important news items which was been found in your page 1, and let me also make it clear to whatever we are having here, it is a Delhi edition. So, there might be a certain changes of the pages and also the content from page 1 and page 5, there might be certain differences, and why we have taken the Delhi edition is because sometimes in the Delhi editions you get a good number of content oriented part, like example like sometimes in the live columns and all in our regional newspapers we do not get much. So, taking that into consideration, this Delhi edition we have taken it, so that it becomes better for us to understand the holistic view to what we have to focus on. So, lot many other multiple 2-3 issues would be coming there in the Delhi issue. So, that is one of the reasons to what we have taken. So, this Muzaffarnagar you can actually see in page 5 as well, since it is a Delhi edition, it is under page 1, right. So, not to get confused on these grounds, and directly we are moving on to page 5, as we have nothing to deal with the page 2, 3, 4, there was nothing much important, we are moving on to the page 5 directly. So, under the page 5 you have the news here, aim and shoot for a citizen science repository of Indian mammals. So, here this is with respect to the scientists and also the researchers from the National Center of the Biological Science. They have come up with a citizen science repository of the Indian mammals. So, here they are saying that year after to whatever you the people have a kind of a stigmatic thing right now. So, wherever they go, whatever they do, they take a photo and they upload in the the Facebooks and also the other parts. Right now, this particular initiative under the Mammal of India, they can capture the pictures of those particular mammal and they can still do by posting in this particular portal. So, that here the whereabouts of the animals, whether it's been extinct or endangered, or understanding which area they have been found and which area has been more suitable and which area has been becoming a danger for them. These kinds of initiations can be done by the people who are taking a photos of the different animals, and if they upload it out here, then the things would be identified more. So, this is one of the open portal what the scientists and the researchers have come up from the Bangalore, that is the National Center for Biological Sciences. So, here it is called actually the Mammals of India, which is an online peer reviewed freely accessible portal. So, as we discussed, this is about the portal, and this was actually launched this year, that is in September 2018. So, by October 25th, that is by yesterday, there were like 768 images which were been uploaded, and all these of them like 161 species were mammals. So this was one of the edge area to why they even understood like what kind of a mammals, and there were also few important rare mammals were also being found, rare species were also found. So here as per the current estimates are saying that 426 species of mammals is what we have in India, but 47 species are endemic to the Indian subcontinent itself. So now 47 have been completely under endemic zone category right now. So here this gives a understanding out here, and there are a few important rare species in just 1 month to what the people have started with the citizen science initiative. A few number of species were been listed out, that is red serow from Manipur, Asian golden cat from Arunachal Pradesh, and binturong, and also it is called as a bear cat as well. So and also the east coming in Arunachal Pradesh and being shared for the benefit of the researchers and the public alike. So this was the important kind of an species, rare species which were being spotted by the public. They didn't know it's a rare species, rather they had been uploaded on these particular open portal. By then these were since authorities they got to know that these particular animals and the species have been still been there. So how is that we can conserve them in return? So this is about the repository of the people, where the people can share the images of the rare animals, so that more understandingly we will understand where what is the other organisms. So this is something related, and this comes takes a position in your environment, which is for your preliminary examination, and also takes part when it comes to your paper 3 because of the disaster management and other things. If you have to mention any of such things, you can, it's all about how you write it. So you can make use of the data however you want it in a more logical way. So this is about it. And down here you have under the page 5 itself, India is said to be the 3rd largest aviation market. So actually right now India in terms of an aviation market is under the 7th position, but here by 2024 there are chances and there are expectations that India might move on to the top 3 countries. So here this is as per the global aviation body IATA. So this is nothing but International Air Transport Association. So as per the International Air Transport Association, it's saying from the last 20 years it is a good outcome where the aviation industry is getting increased more and more, and it's going to be doubled by 2037 by having 8.2 billion passengers, that's air passengers into the industry. So this is with respect to this part. And if we have to see in terms of sector wise, so here the biggest contribution is being coming from the Asia Pacific region. So here half of the total number of the new passengers over the next 20 years is going to be from the Asia Pacific region. And here if you see here, China would be in the first position, USA and India. This is the future forecast by 2037 what has been displayed out here, but India is in the 7th position, and by coming to the 3rd position India would be surpassing the UK, wherein China would be surpassing with the USA. So that is about it. And here again the Asia Pacific is becoming as the fastest growth with almost like 4.8%, and this would be followed by Africa with 4.6% and West Asia by 4.4%. So here as per the IATA, what they have found is that firstly they have noticed that there is a lot of geographical reshuffling. So in terms of the world traffic to the east, so now you can see most of it is happening on the Asia Pacific regions. So reshuffling of the geography is been happening. And secondly they are saying that they might have foreseeing some negative impact as well. So that negative impact is with respect to the growth and benefits of the aviation. If this becomes tougher, and if there is any restrictive protectionist measures if they have been implemented, but suppose they come up with any tough or restrictive protectionism measures, then this particular sector might see a negative impact as well. So this is one important findings to what the IATA has been said on. And apart from these countries, there are other Southeast Asian countries which have been predicted to grow rapidly is Indonesia, and this might be the 4th largest aviation country by 2030. So as per the ranking, and you can also see that the Thailand, which is also been expected to enter the top 10 markets by 2030. So these are the 2 important countries which is also been expected to come to in a very near future. So this is about it. So which means that the aviation sector in India has been growing in a faster space, so that it becomes under the top 3. So this is about it. And very beside it you have the next news item, Army is set to create a new positions as part of overall. So this with respect to the Army's biggest reform which has been since our independence. So here the main reform to what they are focusing is that they wanted to right size the force and also reduce the mounting revenue expenditure, because the revenue expenditures and the force size what we are having, it's like it has to be changed on, because revenue expenditure is getting increased on and on. They are just ensuring to how it can be scrambled up and how it can be done for the betterment of the rest of it. So here they are saying that it is the biggest reform to what they are looking out here. And apart from that, you can see a certain creation of a new positions of a third deputy chief of army staff and a director general of the strategic communications. So here this particular peoples would be moving under a new deputy chief of army staff if it is being created. So there might be a movement of the militaries to what they were earlierly, and it might be moving under a new deputy chief of army staff which they are trying to come across, because there is a creation of the army staff here. And if you see currently the new deputy, there are two deputy chiefs in the army sector. One is for the information and also the training, and other person would be deputy part would be for the planning and systems. So this is about the understandings to what is there in the army sectors and what are the changes they are trying to get and what might be the new creation in return. But here the study would be happening on a phased manner. So the four important studies to what they would be doing is for restructuring of the army headquarters, first thing. Secondly, restructuring which includes cutting down the strength, and also the cadre review of the officers and review of the terms and conditions of the JCOs, that is junior commissioned officers and other ranks. So these are the four important areas to what they would be studying on. So why is this particular areas are being focused? Why do we even have to have a study about it? This is with respect to enhancing the operational and the functional efficiency by optimizing the budget expenditures and also facilitate a force modernization and also to address the aspirations. So this is where they are trying to move across to understand to what they wanted to do, what is the proper operational or functional efficiency they can get in, or a budget expenditure they can look on for, or even to move on for a facilitate of force modernization in return. So this is one thing, and apart from that there are bigger changes also which has been happening with respect to IBG, that is integrated battle groups, which would also be included out here. And there is also a kind of chances where the shifting of the Director General Military Training in Army headquarters to the Army's Training Command at Shimla. So there might be a shift of this Army headquarters, and they were also talking about like few important aspects. As this has been moved on, then it will be sent on for a feedback, and the feedback has been well incorporated and it has been done and the plan is being finalized, then it will be tested for a validation before finalizing the plan. So if the plan has been finalized, then whatever the changes we have discussed out here, that would be becoming the Army's biggest reforms. So we have to wait and see to what might the changes happen to the Army reforms, but right now these are the areas to what they are saying that is being focused on. So these were the important takeaways from your page 5. That's about it. And here you have your editorial column. So it's trial by authors. This with respect to disqualifications of from the Madras High Court and the verdict which has been coming out here. So not required, as I earlierly said you can look on to, because it's purely of the political aspect. So you can look on to the role of the speaker, and you can look on to the role of the anti-defection laws and also the judges. So what is 10th schedule and all those things, you all just look on to it, other things is not required. And here they think small, so it is decentralized sludge management system. This was respected to the UP, to what we got it as a a report last week with respected to CSC. So as per the report, it was respected to fecal sludge and also most of the waste and solid waste getting termed into the agriculture and to the riverbeds. So here it has been discussed out here. So by reading this, you will understand how you can write your answers. So not to miss this part, you can just look on to them. And if you have missed any of the points, you can take it from that. And our time begins now. So this with respected to the India's stance with respected to the climate change. So it is a need where we have to move on for a zero carbon economy right now. So here you have the concepts on that. So you can just look on to them. Any good key takeaways would be there. Kindly make a note of them. And then driven by notions of purity and impurity. So this is again the development of the Supreme judgment on what the Supreme Court had given. Apart from whatever you have taken, if you find any kind of a new points, then go ahead with the point, or if you feel that you have sufficient, then quit this part. it's not required, right. So, on the op-ed page, actually on Fridays you get this yes, no, and it's complicated. So, here on this week it is on Me Too India. So, there would be arguments on yes, no and complicated. So, you can look on to them and you can understand in a more holistic aspects about the Me Too movement. So, these are the important things to what you have to focus on editorial. And moving on to the world column. So, under the world column, this is with respect to the sector, right. It's for second day bombs target Democrats, critics of Trump. So, this with respect to the USA, where there is an election which is going to happen on November 6. On limelight of what is the entire story is going on is what the article says here. So, here the authorities are actually discovered a suspicious packages sent to the former vice president and also Mr. Robert De Niro. He is an actor. So, there were different kinds of parcels which was been sent to these people, but none of them were exploded. As you can see here, the 9 of the confirmed devices have not been exploded because 9 of them were being sent as a parcel, but here the government and the authorities, they are suspecting it to be as a serial bomber, and anyways they have started the hunt on it. But there is again nothing for us to do anything because it's international political game and the drama again. So, what you can know is that just wait for any certain developments. If there is an explosion, then you understand about it, why and what. Even if there is an explosion, it's not required for us. So, you can just leave, but you can know that this is one of the news column which has been there. So, be safer not to break your heads. And next, moving on to China, Japan to partner in building Asia infrastructure. So, this with respect to Japanese Prime Minister Mr. Shinzo Abe has actually arrived China to reset the visit. So, this is actually triggering to have a collaborations between the Tokyo and Beijing in development of the infrastructure in Asia. So, the more the development of infrastructure is what both of them have been planning on for. So, here the meeting to what he had dropped on, it is with respected function was held, and that was with commemorations of the 40th anniversary of China-Japan Treaty of Friendship. So, that made a treaty of friendship back in 40 years earlierly. So, they are celebrating the 40th anniversary out here, and it is also playing an indispensable. So, when the Mr. Abe, the Prime Minister of that is Japan, he made a speech and he said that it was an indispensable role in the economic development of not just Asia, but for the entire world as well. So, this is about his personal speech, and here you have with respect to what is that they might be seeking out of this particular meet. So, here they would be converging between the China Belt and Road Initiative and Japan's accept for free and open Indo-Pacific. So, this would be one of the area where they might be talking on, and few analysts were also expecting that they might discuss on the joint development of infrastructure in Asia and the Africa during talks. So, since this is under development, so let them talk, and after it is being done, we will understand what it is. And here China and Japan, whatever they deal is not a deal for us, but how it might impact the interest of India is what we have to focus on. So, this kind of an articles you have to be more on analytical basis. So, this covers with India and bilateral relations and India's with other countries having an effect or impact on India. So, this becomes of your part 2, right. So, general studies of your paper 2. So, this becomes important, just understand to what is being there, that is it. So, you do not have anything apart from that. And moving on to your business column. So, here you have the RIA's offer to pay up, want SR Steel back. So, this is a very big story which has been happening from very long time, that is from year 2017 and much before that. So, most of it has been captured from 2017, and for any newcomer, if you are not understanding, if you are seeing this particular SR Steel for the first time, which means that you have to first see to what is being given in this box. A timeline of the entire issue has been posted out here, and you have till the moment what is been here. To make it very simple, here the SR Steel had actually gone for an insolvency, right, and after that a bidding had called on. So, there were 7 bidders who had given the bidding, and one is ArcelorMittal, New Metal, Tata Steel, Vedanta Group, Nippon, and out of them 2 people became finalists, New Metal and the ArcelorMittal, and that became as one telling that they were not being allowed to, and they were disqualified by the NCTL, and then the tribunal came up into existence. Then the ArcelorMittal, he filed a complaint to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court gave a judgment on that. All these things has been happening right now. So, it is all about to take out the SR Steel. So, whatever we are talking about the SR Steel, so it was through a bidding, one person wants to occupy. But right now the story and the important issue on the development of this is that now the promoters of a SR Steel have submitted a proposal to the COC, that is a committee of creditors, for a full settlement of the entire admitted claims of the financial creditors, operational creditors and workmen and employees of SR Steel India, aggregating with almost like 54,389 crores. So now this was under the bidding, so that the other set of people can take out this particular SR Steel. But now the SR Steel has come and it's saying that now it will be settling the entire debt amount with 54,389 crores by giving to all these stakeholders. So this offer is including upfront cash payment of 47,507 crores to all creditors, and also with respected to the financial creditors of 45,559. So it is an 100% recovery, and this is with offering like 8.7 premium to the ArcelorMittal's upfront offer of 41,909. So this about it, right? And again the COC, this role becomes very important. So what they do and other things is still it happens, but here you should know in terms of an economic concept is what is the role of the COC, what is NCLT, what is IBC. So this is what you have to know it, right? But in each way, since this is there, we'll see what is the development in written. So COC is empowered to consider and approve this settlement plan with a requisite voting share, on the basis of which the corporate insolvency resolution process against ESIL, that is SR Steel of India Limited, may be withdrawn. So now to whatever the, if at all it has been approved on, then the company would be coming out of the insolvency resolution, because it's trying to settle the entire debt amount, then there is no point in having the continuations of the insolvency resolutions of the company. So it is also said that while the resolution plan currently is under the COC consideration, takes care of only the secured creditors, that is the banks, the new offer from the SR Steel promoters will lead not only maximum recovery for lenders, but also for the classes of the creditors as well. So to whatever the promoters are being making up with the statements right now, it will not only help the recovery of the lenders, but also for the other class of creditors as well, it will be a benefit. But here the firm out of the insolvency procedure under the section 12A of the IBC, you should know very important IBC code 2016, as per that you have a section 12A which was introduced in June 2018 as an amendment. So with this particular firm, it was moved on to the insolvency process as per the 12A section. So right now the ArcelorMittal was the one who was telling that I would be giving up the entire, you can see the story out here. So it was the one which was telling that they would be settling, and other kind of an advance payment was also being done with respect to settling, and other kind of an payments to what they have to do on. They were been speaking on that, but now right now the Astral, that's SR Steel's rupees, they come up and their promoters are saying that they are settling the complete amount. So now the ArcelorMittal is saying that under the section 12A, it states that any application to withdraw must be submitted prior to the issuance to the invitation for expression of interest. So here it is said that as per the section 12A, it should be issued prior to the EOIs, that's expression of interest, and must be and it should be accompanied by a bank guarantee for a specified amount. So how can you issue this now? So there is again allegations to what is been coming from the ArcelorMittal, who was a bidder on this particular SR Steel, and this is one of the statement to what he has been highlighting on the section 12A. So this again blame game, kind of an understandings to here they were been ready to take up with that particular industry limited company, but right now the parent one is coming back, that is the promoters of SR Steel, and they are saying that we are settling the amount, and resolvency procedure or resolution under the IBC, whatever is being done on them, it will be moving outside. So there is one important part, and you will have more details on that. So whether accepted, what is NCTL and what is COC saying on that and all, you will be getting in the near future. So beginners, you can just look on to this timeline, and the earlier videos of ours also we have discussed about it in detail. That is why I am not repeating it again right now. So you can look on to the old videos, you get the complete details on this SR Steel. So that has been detailed out there. And again you have the IBC amendment out here to what changes they have done. So this part is there, right? So that's all about it. And again on your page business review areas and all, you don't have anything as such. So these were the important news items for 26th October 2018. Thank you.